Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope that you're doing well. Fragrances come, fragrances go. Just like pretty much everything in this world, like love, money, life. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about fragrances.
Time to musk up.
Yeah, they come and go. They will be here today, gone tomorrow, discontinued, put into the dustbin of history, and then freaks like myself will seek them out on eBay and pay absurd amounts of money to pick them up. Yeah, discontinued stuff, I like it. But these fragrances I'm sharing with you today, these are masterpieces that are timeless. They are here today, yesterday, and tomorrow, and they will always smell amazing. If you disagree with that, you're wrong. I'm just playing. You're not wrong. We all gonna have different opinions. So I got 10 of them today for you, 10 different designer fragrances, and each one of these will be linked in the description below in case you wanna check them out down there. Where shall we begin? I'm looking down into the pile of fragrances to see which one speaks to me first. Let's do this one first. Dior Homme Intense. Now, this is a fragrance where I feel it is indeed timeless. Amazing. The quality, fantastic. A chef's kiss of iris and Brett perfection. A little bit makeup-y, lipsticky, sure. Extremely classy, sophisticated, elegant, sexy even, if the right person's wearing it. Yeah, it's all those things. Dior Homme Intense is perfect. But the house of Christian Dior, when it comes to fragrances, they don't crack. So this is one where it wouldn't surprise me if it gets mutated, changed into something completely different. They did announce Dior Homme Intense 2025, a new presentation style, but it's supposed to be the same. I haven't smelled it yet to confirm, but hopefully it does stay the same for now anyway. But with Christian Dior, you never know what's going on, do you? Nowadays, who knows? Nothing is safe. Nothing is sacred. Looking at you, Dior Homme Parfum. Oh, what'd they do to you? I feel like it's a Godfather. Look how they massacred my boy.
Look how they massacred my boy.
But Dior Homme Intense, this stuff, can't go wrong with it. And this is one that I have more bottles of than any other fragrance that I own. Other than my own fragrances. I own more bottles of those, but it's because, you know, they're mine. By the way, Michael Malone, Gents, West Loop, South Slope. You can find those at every single perfuming and fragrance outlet store in the country. Okay, back to this. I own more bottles of this than anything. I have backups of backups of backups. And now I'm actually feeling pretty good that I do have all those backups after seeing the new Dior Homme Parfum, which, to be fair, the new Dior Homme Parfum definitely is more wearable than the old Dior Homme Parfum, but it ain't the old Dior Homme Parfum. You get what I'm saying. Let's see, where do we go next on this fragrance journey? I want to talk about this one next, Versace Oud Noir. Now this is one that kind of flies under the radar as far as what your average person is gonna know fragrance-wise, right? Now you and me, we know about this one. We do. But Billy Joe Bob down the way, I don't think he does. No offense to any Billy Joe Bobs out there. So Versace Oud Noir comes to us from a time where every designer house had to have that hit of oud, that sweet, sweet oud. Every single designer house was coming out with their own oud fragrance, like clockwork, and this one was Versace's. And I think it's one of, if not the best, of that time frame of oud designer fragrances. Price point, not too high. Presentation, looks great, really classy, sophisticated, high-end looking. It has some similarities to Tom Ford's Oud Wood, kind of in that wheelhouse, in that style a little bit. It goes its own way as it dries down. You know, they don't smell the exact same or anything like that, but it can kind of scratch the same itch for you. This one has pepper, saffron, cardamom, of course that oud, a little bit of patchouli, and olibanum as well. Just smells great. It's one of those scents that has a gentlemanly aspect to it, but at the same time has a great compliment factor while being a bit unique, at least compared to most fragrances out there. And it came out all the way back in 2013, which is crazy to me that it's been that long. Still smells great though. Next up, La Nuit de l'Homme from YSL. This is the original La Nuit Eau de Toilette. And this is another one that makes use of cardamom, just like Oud Noir, but the cardamom here really is the star of the show. You also have lavender in here, cedar, bit of woodiness, bergamot as well. And it's a hype monster. This is one that just about everybody's gonna know if they've looked up fragrances for any length of time. It has like ebbs and flows of hype almost, where like, you know, everybody talks about it, oh, can't escape it. And then it kind of settles down, okay, yes, it's great, masterpiece, okay, great, but let's not talk about it so much. And then it's like a meme coin. It just takes off again and everybody's freaking out about it. But it deserves it. L'Eau de L'Homme, it's been around and it's gonna be around for a lot longer. Wonderful fragrance for fall and winter, nice evening scent, really year round. Got a super appealing, spicy sweetness to it, but then it's fresh at the same time, especially off the top. The one drawback for this one for a lot of people is the performance. It's not amazing, but the scent itself smells so good that you can forgive that. Before we head to the next fragrance, guys, here's some codes you can use to save money. The JOMASHOP codes have changed. So be aware of that. Those JOMASHOP codes, they only work within the app and they change every couple months or so. So if you're watching this in the future and those codes are not active anymore, there's probably some new ones that are. And then all the other codes like Fragflex, the perfume box, etc., are as they are, or as they have been. Let's talk next, Jean Paul Gaultier. It is Ultramall. Jean Paul Gaultier just about seems to be ruling the roost as far as fragrances over the last couple years. Le Male Elixir, Le Male Le Parfums, Scandal Absolu, Le Beau Le Parfum, Le Beau Paradise Garden. There's a lot of stuff that has been talked about a bunch. And for good reason. They're good releases, fantastic releases, even some of them. And they're ones that I like a lot, to be fair. There's not one of those that I just named off that I think is a terrible release at all. You go back a little ways, and this one right here was like, for a time period, the savior of Jean Paul Gaultier. At least in terms of how much it was being talked about anyway. Because it's easy to forget, but there was a time frame there where Jean Paul Gaultier fragrance releases were not really that anticipated. At least not like they are today. You can't friggin' escape them nowadays, man. So yeah, you go back a little ways, not that far actually, but you go back a little ways and it wasn't quite the same way. Except for this one. This one, when it hit, oof, really, really big. And it's not that hard to see why. It's a fragrance that my wife absolutely fell in love with the first time she smelled it. Still to this day, really loves it. It's very easy to wear. It's sweet, a little bit powdery, strong, so very attention grabbing, compliment pulling, great performance. And this year will be a decade since it came out. And interestingly enough, here we are, a decade later, and there are clone brands coming out with clones, like new ones, of this fragrance. Like, it's been around, guys. It's been around for a little bit, but sure, I guess that's what we need. Now, in terms of notes, this one has vanilla, it has mint, it has lavender. Those notes going to tie it in with the original Le Male. Then there's also pear in here. There's cinnamon, clary sage, amber, and patchouli as well. It's a great release. When it first came out, some people were like, oh, it's too sweet, sickly sweet, ugh. But compared to a lot of things coming out nowadays, actually, it doesn't maybe smell too sweet anymore. I mean, some people sure are still gonna say it's too sweet, but there's a lot sweeter out there is all I'm saying. Okay, this next one is really affordable, extremely versatile, wear it whenever you want. Any season, daytime, nighttime, don't matter. It's Explorer. So maybe kind of a funny choice because you say, oh, is Explorer really a masterpiece or timeless? Well, it does smell really familiar, very similar to another fragrance that I think nobody would really argue is both of those things, Creed's Aventus. Yes, it's quite Aventusy. That's how we say that, right? Aventusy. Essentially, that's what this is. This is a designer take on the Aventus DNA. Aventus style. This is fresh spicy, has a nice pink pepper in the opening, a little bit of bergamot in there as well, and a very modern, contemporary, clean, woodsy base. And even though it is similar to Aventus in a lot of different ways, and you could, dock it points for that, at the end of the day, that scent profile, it just works, and it's going to continue to work. It's one of those fragrance scent profiles where you smell it and it doesn't smell like it's necessarily rooted in a particular year or time. Although I guess, to be fair, it's only been out 6 years, so maybe 50 years from now, you would go back and look at this and be like, oh, yeah, that definitely smells like a late 2010s release. But I would imagine in 60 years, it's still gonna be smelling really nice and very easy to wear because it is ripping off, similar to Reed Dementis. Gotta go Acqua di Gio next. Acqua di Gio Parfum from Giorgio Armani. Now this is one of those time frames where I'm gonna tell you just Acqua di Gio in general. Yeah, you know how sometimes I'll bring up an Acqua di Gio fragrance and say, realistically, just whichever one you like. That's kind of what I'm saying here. Acqua di Gio, that scent profile, it just works. It always has worked. And they have tweaked it and changed that DNA as time has gone on. They've released flankers, they've discontinued flankers. But one thing that is consistent is ADG. And that does not stand for always drinking gin. And it stands for Acqua di Gio, or it could stand for both of those things. The reason I did pick Acqua di Gio Parfum out of the other Acqua di Gios to feature here though, is it does have that similarity to Acqua di Gio Profumo, which is the Acqua di Gio of choice for so many people out there. And it does smell darn good, to be fair. Citrusy, aquatic, very fresh, clean, classy, easy to use, big compliment puller, very versatile, has a bit more body than some of the other Acqua di Gio fragrances, which makes it easier to use during the evening, during fall, during winter. My personal favorite is Acqua di Gio Profondo, the eau de parfum, not the parfum. But Acqua di Gio, it's gonna be here. I feel like forever. If ever a day comes that they discontinue the entire Acqua di Gio line, I don't know, man, that'll be a dark day. That'll be a dark day for fragrances and the world. Something has gone terribly wrong if that happens. So Acqua di Gio, timeless? I think so. Let's go with another black bottle because black bottles look cool. Prada L'Homme Intense. This one is darn good. And this is a fragrance that was trying to scare everybody, myself included, like it was impossible to find for a long time. Prada, scrubbed it off their website, removed it, get away. How dare you do that, Prada? What is wrong with you? Then it became impossible to find in the US at pretty much any store. You know, Sephora, Macy's, Ulta, any of that? And on top of that, you couldn't find it at discounters either. So yeah, that's rough. But thankfully, at least right now, you can find it at discounters again. So JOMASHOP, FragranceNet, they have it in stock like as of this video, and it's available a lot of other places as well. The price is not as low as it used to be, so yeah, that's kind of rough, but at least you can find it. In terms of notes, it has iris, of course, along with leather, amber, patchouli, tonka, and sandalwood. It's a deeper, richer, bolder, more masculine version of the original Prada L'Homme. Maybe not quite as powdery as that one, but definitely still have a touch of the powder. It is perfecto for fall, for winter, for more formal occasions. Just an amazing scent. And a lot of Prada fragrances do lend themselves to come across a little bit more timeless because a lot of the time they're trying to come across just more elegant, clean, fresh. Even fragrances like this that have leather and tonka in there. And so instead of trying to overload with sweetness or do something that every single other house is doing, they kind of walk their own path a little bit and it works out really well. Usually, not always, of course. I gotta go with this one next. Gentleman Reserve Privé. Yes, since we're talking iris, why not another one? One of the best that you can get right now. Reserve Privé is top notch. Of course, it's not just iris. There's also whiskey in here, which sounds pretty good to me. And then you also have woods and chestnut as well. Also a touch of citrus off the top. Solid performance, super sexy, warm, a touch gourmand. And this is a nice one for people who are maybe just getting started into iris fragrances because it's there, it's noticeable, it is. But those other notes do help temper the note of iris a little bit. That way it's not quite as like chewy, lipsticky, like Dior Homme Intense, for example, which again, really good. And while I do like Gentleman Society Extreme, it was a little bit rough where they give us this one, which a lot of people would say is the best in the Gentleman line, and then swap everything to Society. Again, Society is solid. I'm not saying it's not. It's just you're gonna give us this absolute banger of a fragrance and you're gonna go, okay, yeah, so about that whole Gentleman thing, let's switch that up. Bruh. From here we move on to another black bottle. Armani Code. This is the Eau de Toilette, but it's in the newer bottle style. But still, it's Armani Code. So these bottles have been changed for a while. What do you guys think? New Armani Code bottles better than the old ones? Old ones better than the new ones? I don't know how I feel yet. It'll be like 10 years from now and I'll be like, I finally figured out which one I think I like more. This one's been out for going on 20 years, so it is officially an adult. In terms of notes, it's got citrus off the top, lemon and bergamot. There's star anise, leather tonka, tobacco, and a bit of woods as well. A lot of the time when people think of Armani Code, they think evening fragrance. Right? Fall, winter, nighttime, clubbing scent even. But it has more versatility than that. You can wear this a lot of places, almost year round. I think summer, I'd go something else. But it has a surprisingly decent pop of freshness when you first spray this one on. And even though it's been out for a while, I think the more time that goes on, somehow this smells more timeless. Like you go back to, I don't know, 2016, something like that, and you smell Armani Code, you might start to think, it's starting to smell a little dated. But then after the bunch of flankers that have come out over the past number of years, you go back and smell this one and you go, that actually still works. Still works really well, actually. And so I can only imagine, you know, give it another 20 more years, still gonna work. Last but not least, this one, Allure Homme Sport from Chanel, which of course gets compared to Versace Pour Homme and Missoni Wave. Only this one is more expensive than both of those put together. But it does have that Chanel quality in a world where Chanel is the highest quality fragrance of all time. So this one came out 2004. So this one is 21, or about to be. And while it does have some similarities to Versace Pour Homme and Missoni Wave, it is not the exact same. It definitely has more body than those two. It's deeper than those two fragrances. It's very rich. It's fresh off the top. You've got orange in there and ozonic kind of feel. You've got a touch of pepper. You've got some nice white florals like neroli in there, keeping everything very clean. Then as it dries down, it gets a bit sweeter. You've got vanilla, you have tonka, again, nice depth to the fragrance. You have woods as well. And that makes this one really an all year fragrance. Even though it's a sport in name, you can wear that fall, winter, spring, summer, day, night, don't matter. And the fragrance itself absolutely crushes if you're looking for something that has that compliment factor, that mass appeal, that ease of use. And while there are some flankers that came out after this one that sometimes get a little more love than this one, get talked about more than this one, I think this is probably the safest bet in that Allure Homme Sport line. We're talking about a timeless one. So there we go, guys. 10 different fragrances that are timeless, masterpieces, you might even say. Thank you all for hanging with me. Let me know what you feel is a timeless designer release. It can be something that came out this year, 10 years ago, 50 years ago, don't matter. If you think 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now, people could still wear it and smell amazing, that counts. Thank you guys for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. See you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.